All right, it's 9:05, so we're gonna go ahead and get started. My name is Edmund Odarte from the Office of Alumni Engagement. Thank you all very much for joining us for this year's edition of Homecoming and Family Weekend. It's been about a few years now since we introduced the virtual portion for Homecoming, and we are all excited for you all to be here. I'd like to, again, welcome all our speakers that will be joining us and sharing some updates. This program is designed to showcase all the great things Embry Riddle Worldwide is doing and to bring our international alumni, students, and campuses together. In a few minutes, you will hear from Dr. John Watret, Chancellor of Worldwide Campus. Following Dr. Watret's updates, you will also hear from leaders from Embry Riddle International Campuses who will share updates about their individual campus, initiatives they've implemented to engage students and alumni, and also how you as an alum can participate. We'll also have Q&A following all the presentations, so you can go ahead and send your questions in the chat feature. Without further ado, I'd like to kick things off with Dr. John Watret, Chancellor for the Worldwide Campus.
Thank you, Edmund. And good morning, afternoon, evening to everyone that's on. I'm not sure which time zone you're in, but I appreciate you joining to hear about the Worldwide Campus. And I'm assuming that many of the participants have graduated from the Worldwide Campus, so are familiar with what we actually do. Post-COVID, we're rebounding very well. Our numbers continue to grow. Our three colleges are doing well. We're adding new programs. Last year, we added 7 new programs to the worldwide offerings between the 3 colleges, the College of Arts and Sciences, College of Business, and College of Aviation. We added safety and space. Space is a growing area for the Worldwide Campus. In the last few years, we've added 2 a Master in Space Operations and a Master in Science in Space Systems. Both of those programs are going very well as we move into the space realm in doing so. We always continue to be supportive of the military. That is where Embry Riddle Worldwide started back in 1971 in Fort Rutger, or Fort Novosel now, as it's called, renamed. And so for the last 53, 54 years, we've been supporting military and civilian in the aviation aerospace sectors, and as I say, moving into the space as well. Over the years, we've grown beyond the boundaries of Embry Riddle, of the US CONUS, and expanded out to the Europe, Asia, and South Central America. You're going to hear from the leaders from our military in Europe and Asia, and then our campus in Singapore. But we do have a location in South Central America supporting the aviation sector down there. We do not offer degree programs down there. It's all certificates in support of what they're doing. And we just concluded yesterday a graduation for aviation management program certificate that we offer in Brazil. It's offered to the 3 airlines, Azul, Gol, and Latam, and its representatives from each of those airlines go through a 14-month program, similar to an MBA, but it is a certificate program, and it is done hybrid. So part of it is online, and then the faculty are launched into Sao Paulo, and the students come together for a week of in-person teaching. Then at the end of the last course, instead of the instructor going down to Brazil, the students come up to our Daytona Beach campus and do their capstone projects and present them, and then go through a graduation. This is the 9th cohort. We're going into year 10 of this next year, and it's been very successful, along with other areas in Brazil is aviation English. We've gone through a 4-year contract and teaching the air traffic controllers in Brazil aviation English, bringing them up to ICAO level 4 English proficiency for working as an air traffic controller internationally. So there's many other programs down there. So our South Central America area is growing, and as I said, and the person that leads that is Israel Treptow, and he is with the Brazilian group that were from the airlines today, so was not able to attend, but it is good. Before I go on and pass it over to each of the other representatives, I do want to just highlight the profile of what the Worldwide Campus is. Let's share the screen. Okay, so the profile to the students there, and you'll see we have 2 groups of students that we serve in the Worldwide. The first group is our active duty military, and we've got over 10,000 students, active duty military students, that are pursuing degree programs with us. And as you can see there, we are located on 58 military locations in the United States. And that's all branches of the military services. And then you'll hear from the Tri-Service and PACOM, that is Nancy Tran-Horn oversees those 2 areas. And those are contracts that we have with the military in Europe and in Asia. So those are on the US military bases in Germany, Italy, Spain, UK. We're proposing to go to Romania and Poland, and you'll hear more of that from Nancy. And then we also support the US military in the Pacific, in mainland Japan, Okinawa, Guam, and South Korea, in all the branches of the military that are stationed over there. And then, of course, everything we do is online. So, I mean, we do teach courses in person in some of the bases. We use technology as Eagle Vision. We use Zoom to deliver courses in person and synchronous to that. So that is half of our student body, is that active duty military. The other half is our civilian veterans, and that's over 11,000 civilian veterans. Now, in the US, we have 21 what we call civilian locations, and those are on in cities that have a large aviation hub, such as Seattle, San Diego, Los Angeles, Atlanta, Miami, etc. So those support the aviation clusters in each of those cities. Then we've got a location in Europe, in Frankfurt, Germany, and that allows us to bring in European students and military into our European locations. And it also allows us to have grants from the European community for research grants that some of our faculty have been working on. And also we have partnerships with other universities in Europe, such as Cardiff Metropolitan University. They have an aviation management program that they were developing. So instead of developing all the aviation courses for the degree, they contract with us and we deliver those courses to them. And it's been very successful. And we do that with Salford University and other universities as well. So that allows us to operate in Europe and deliver our aviation focus to other areas. And then Asia, and you'll hear from Asia. Asia is exciting. We launched Asia in Singapore in 2011, and that is growing and now really has its own campus. And you'll hear from Matt Flaherty, who's Vice Chancellor, Head of Asia, on that and the excitement that's going on there. And then, as I mentioned, we've got Central and South America, headed by Israel Treptow, and I mentioned some of this great stuff stuff that they're doing. And we're expanding out of Brazil. We've done some programs in Trinidad and Tobago. We're doing one in Chile. And then into Colombia as well. So there's lots going on there. And of course, everything again is online. It's a mixture of multimodality online. We do offer in person if we can, but most of it is online. So that is, I mean, that is the profile of the worldwide. You know, it's 22,000 students that are there, as you know, and many of you that are on this Zoom call now in this presentation, you've gone through it and experienced it and got your degree this way. And we're here to support that non-traditional student who is, or the working adult, or the military, active duty military personnel that are able to pursue their degree while they're working. And use it to enhance their career, whether it's moving up within the company that already are in, or using it for promotion within the military. But it's also for the military folks, when they leave the military, they've got a degree and are able to go into the aviation sector, which is a great area to have that second career for it. So with that, as we've set that up, I'm going to pass it back to Edmund, and he will introduce the next person, or I can do that, Edmund, whichever one you'd like to do.
No problem. I can introduce Nancy.
Okay.
Yes.
Thank you. Thank you, everyone, for joining today.
Thank you very much, Dr. Watret. Really appreciate your time and your updates. All right, we're now going to cross the ocean and head over to the United Kingdom, where we have Nancy Tranhorn, who will be sharing some updates. Nancy is the Executive Director for U.S. Military campus operations in Europe, and and also the Pacific Command area. Nancy works from the UK and has been with Embry Riddle for over 26 years. Nancy?
Thank you so much, Edmund. Everyone can see my screen okay? Great. Thank you so much. I'm excited to be here and excited to be part of the virtual homecoming event. As the Chancellor mentioned, we have a very unique role. We support U.S. military that are stationed overseas in Europe and the Pacific. So we have been in Europe since 1973, and we have only been in the Pacific Command since 2015. However, we are growing immensely there. I'll give you a little bit of information about our exciting operations. This, to start off with, is our headquarters team. We consist of a couple of associate executive directors. I have one, Haley Yamanaka, who is in charge of our Pacific operations, and Paul is in charge of our Europe operations. We also have administrative assistants, a contract compliance administrator, and then some senior directors and associate senior directors for training and student advising, and we work for the Chancellor's office. So what are we? What do we do? A lot of people want to know, they don't understand why or how we came to be over to, to the U.S. military side of things. So in Europe, as Dr. Watret mentioned, we have about 19 locations, and our contract with the military is supposed to, in a sense, enhance their quality of life, provide them voluntary education so they can not feel limited to degree programs and studies while they're stationed overseas, and supporting what they do in serving the country. So in Europe, we have a host of different campus locations for everywhere from Italy to Spain, and most of them are clustered in Germany. We are also supporting remote locations in Poland and Romania who have recently become permanent garrisons. So in the very near future, we expect to be opening campuses there as well. As you can see, it's a broad expanse of geography that's taken care of there. And that's some of our Europe team from our recent graduation workshop. Our Pacific location is 11 locations, and we have a host of advisors and staff that work there. We do cover a big range of the Pacific to include Guam. And in the future, we might be looking at the Philippines and Australia eventually. We actually respond to however the US military are moving around strategically. And a lot of it has to do with world events. And you can see that we support a lot of camps around. Okinawa has a wide variety of camps with students and US military spread all across the island. So we do cover quite a bit of ground there. And then, so what are the contracts and what does that even mean? So having a contract with the US government with Embry Riddle Aeronautical University means we are allowed to have many campuses at US military installations in the Pacific and in Europe. What that means is we have many offices that support and deliver in-person courses. We also have online courses in Eagle Vision Classroom and EVH, Eagle Vision Home Modality. We also support students with excellent academic advising. They can get everything they need with an in-person academic advisor at their campus located on a military installation. So it's very convenient for them. And we are there to support them throughout their whole academic journey from start to finish. And if they move around, they just transfer to different locations. So that's not a problem at all. And then the third component of our contract is we provide community support. We give back to the community. We enhance their life and morale. And so I'll give you examples of that in the next couple of slides. So the PAYCOM contract is actually an education services agreement, and it ends in 2032, which will renew again. And Europe is the Tri-Services contract, and that ends in 2028. And then we'll also renew that when that comes. So what that means is we bid on those contracts. And the interesting thing that happened in the most recent bids is we went from 5 schools to 2 schools. So Embry Riddle have a partner school, University of Maryland Global Campus, and we're the only 2 schools, universities that are authorized to have campuses on military installations overseas. And last year we had an amazing milestone. We celebrated 50 years serving US military in Europe. And then next year, we're excited to say that we'll be in PAYCOM for 10 years. So we'll have a lot of different celebrations at the campuses throughout the year. We recently opened learning centers at camps Fuji and Zama. Those are supported by our Yokosuka and Natsugi campus. And we recently had an amazing graduation ceremony at Frankfurt, Germany. That's our Europe, what we call our Europe graduation hub. That was September 28th. And that was held at the House of Logistics and Mobility. And you'll see some photos on that very soon. We were excited to launch the last year or two a 2+2 program with the University of Maryland Global Campus. And what students can opt to do when they're stationed in Europe or the Pacific is they can complete a general associate's degree with Maryland and seamlessly transfer to a bachelor's degree and earn the Bachelor of Science in Aeronautics with Embry Riddle. And as Dr. Watret mentioned, Poland and Romania, we have those remote student services there. We're currently visiting Poland every 2 months, and they are creating an education center there and putting together all the facilities as the garrison grows. So we really expect to probably establish a campus there probably sometime in 2025 in the very near future. Another thing that we do for the community overseas is we offer professional development workshops from the Army. Those are absolutely no cost and it's for the community. And we highlight different things like leadership and Excel spreadsheets. And we also partner with University of Maryland on offering those different workshops. So that's another way that we support the military. More recently, we had a grand opening for the Kunsan campus. That was October 17th, our latest 11th PAYCOM location, and that's in South Korea. And then coming up just next month, December 8th, we have our PAYCOM Tokyo graduation, and that's held in Tokyo Bay. And you'll hear more about that in a little bit. So we currently have about 1,100 students in Europe and about 1,200 students in Europe and about 1,100 students in the Pacific. Our students are such a diverse group of students. We have not just military members that are students, we also have civilian contractors and military spouses. So we have such unique students that go to school with us. And as Dr. Watret said, they work full-time, if not more than that, and they're balancing family and they're going to school. It's really hard and they persist in what they do, and we're there to help them along the way. I wanted to highlight one of our students in the bottom right hand, Michael Rodriguez. He is finishing up his Bachelor's of Science in Uncrewed Systems Applications. He's stationed at Lake and Heath Base. He's also our ERU student ambassador. What a student ambassador does is they help the campus and they represent Embry Riddle at different events. They speak to prospective and current students, share their Embry Riddle stories, and give advice on studies and general information. He was also recently our Farnborough Air Show volunteer, and he'll be stationed in Aviano soon and plans on pursuing a master's degree with us. So some of the things that we do that have been an amazing, exciting time in this past academic year has been Chancellor meet and greets. The Chancellor will host meet and greets at whatever campus he's visiting overseas, and it gives him the opportunity to share updates about the university, as well as ask students about their academic journey with Embry Riddle, their experience, and he loves to listen to the different paths that they took and how they're doing. And he always takes all the feedback back to the colleges as well. And then another thing that we do that's vital to our operations is maintaining our government partner relationships. So we regularly visit our government partners, whether it's a meeting or virtual, and we meet them at touch points throughout the year just to make sure that everything is how it should be and that we're meeting their expectations for our contracts. And I mentioned earlier our partner school collaboration, our 2+2 program with University of Maryland. And that photo, I had recently met Dr. Gregory Fowler. He is the president of University of Maryland Global Campus, and he has been meeting with the chancellor as well. And we hope to establish future collaborative projects with them. Some other things that we do to give back to the community, as I mentioned, is one of our core reasons for being overseas is military month of the military child events or military community events that we host. So one of the popular ones that we have is the month of the military child. It's a free webinar that we have in the month of April. We partner with Girl Scouts overseas, and we host a variety of different STEM and aviation aerospace career information. Dr. Amaya Davis is one of our adjunct faculty and NASA ambassadors, and she recently facilitated a workshop about life beyond Earth. Not only does she live stream that, a lot of our campuses, if they have the facilities, will host an event at their location with activities for the kids, and they'll live stream the webinar. And they'll be able to interact with her. Another popular event is our annual September Girls in Aviation Day. We partner with Women in Aviation, as well as other squadrons on the base. Those are one of our most favorite popular events because the squadrons are able to host events that include static air displays, female aviators that talk to the students about their careers, and the STEM that is highlighted really opens up the kids to different possibilities of careers in the aviation aerospace sector. Another thing is, as I mentioned, is our Kunsan Grand Opening. That's a ribbon cutting event with our campus director, Ray, one of our adjunct faculty members, and E, who is our associate campus director there. And then the Military Educators Symposium is an important event that we attend annually, and that gives us a chance to network with our government partners. And this is some photos from our recent September Europe graduation. As you can see, it was quite an event. The students had a great time. And the House of Logistics and Mobility is near Frankfurt Airport and Gateway Gardens. And it's a great opportunity for our students, their family and friends, and our government partners to celebrate their academic milestone. And then the photo below there with Dr. Watret, he's actually pictured with two of our campus directors who are academic advisors, one at Ramstein and one previously at Spangdahlem. Our staff also go to school with us. They're also alumni, proud Eagles. This was our last year's PACOM graduation in Tokyo Bay. That was last December. And we welcomed over 65 students or so. And what's really neat to see is our graduations in Frankfurt and Tokyo are becoming popular destination graduation events. It gives the students a chance to create a memorable travel experience in conjunction with their graduation and celebrating with their friends and family. We're excited for next month's graduation because we have about 65 students slated to attend so far. And back to the community, being a part of the community really enhances the quality of life and morale for our overseas communities. We are active with the Air Force Network TV and radio. We have unit briefings. We volunteer at military morale events, education center events such as open houses, college nights, tuition assistance briefings, financial aid awareness efforts. These are just some of the highlights that we cover. And this is just from the past year. Some more events. We have a publication called Stars and Stripes. That's the primary publication overseas. And I wanted to highlight the article in the bottom right hand where they were highlighting last year where only 2 schools, as I mentioned, are contracted to be overseas, us and University of Maryland. And it is quite a milestone for us since there previously were 5 different universities on the base. So that was a huge newsworthy event. Other events is the top right-hand or top left-hand corner is Dakota. They participate in the annual Fly Girls event. Some pictures of our student ambassadors out and about talking to students, local recognition ceremonies. We also develop on-demand unit classes for units with high deployment schedules. And we also offer EagleVision Classroom, usually faculty home, and then EagleVision Home modality, which seems to be becoming more popular lately, which fits in with the military lifestyle. And that is us in a nutshell. Thank you so much for allowing me to share our amazing team overseas. And I hope you enjoy the rest of your virtual homecoming activities. Over to you, Edmund.
Thank you very much, Nancy. Really appreciate all the updates and all the great things going on in Europe. For those of you who joined us in the middle of the presentation, we kicked off with Dr. Watret giving updates about the worldwide campus and South America overall. And then we crossed the Atlantic Ocean, went to Europe. We just heard from Nancy with all the updates. And now we're gonna cross the Mediterranean, make our way through the Arabian Sea and head over to Singapore, where Matt will give us some updates about Asia and all the great things going on there. Over to you, Matt. And also Matt is a dual alum. So thank you very much for all you're doing in Asia.
Thank you very much, Edmund. Good morning, good afternoon, good evening. It is about 9:30 p.m. here in Singapore. So wherever you're joining us from, welcome. I'm very happy to be here to share a little bit about what we're doing in Singapore. As I was preparing for this presentation, I looked back at some of the previous years, and back in 2022 and 23, we started to talk about a new campus for our campus here in Singapore. And I'm going to really spend probably the first half of this presentation sharing some pictures of really what we've done over the last 6 months. We're really, really excited to finally have a space that is our own, that we don't need to share with other partner universities. We've got blue and gold walls. We've got aviation things up on the walls. We've really tried to make this campus exactly what you'd find at other parts of the university. So that's what I'll start things off with. Just to give a little bit of background in what we've been doing here in Singapore, we started in 2011, we started teaching. And from the very early start, we were really kind of spread across Singapore. For those of you who know Singapore, it's usually on a map, it's called the little red dot because it's usually covered by the dot on the map that signifies Singapore. So it's very tiny. You can drive from one end of Singapore to the other in about 45 minutes to an hour. That being said, we were spread across the island. We had a presence out at Singapore Aviation Academy. That's where we started teaching in January of 2011. We had a campus or a location out at Sim University, where we had a partnership where we delivered undergraduate degree programs. About 18 months after we started teaching, we established kind of a regional headquarters in central Singapore. And then a few years later, we had a presence not too far away from that office with ERC Institute. But as you can see, those little dots, they're to get between each of them, it's only about 20 to 25 minutes. But what we found as we spent more time kind of growing our student body was that dispersion across Singapore, it presented challenges because we had faculty, we had students, we had staff in separate locations. And what we really wanted to do was bring all those stakeholders under one roof. And that's what we've spent the last couple of months here doing here in Singapore. This is, for those of you who are not aware, most of you probably know Singapore's airport, Changi International Airport. This is Singapore's other commercial airport. It was actually Singapore's first airport. I'll talk a little bit about the history of Seletar Aerospace Park. But we're right here in the middle of Seletar Aerospace Park. And as you see those industry, companies spread across the field, we're amongst great neighbors. We've got companies where our students, either will work or do work. We have students quite literally who go to class during the day and then walk across the street to do an internship. We could not ask for a better place to be. And when you look at this, you see these companies. This is a perfect place for Embry Riddle. So we're really, really excited to be here in Seletar Aerospace Park. The airport itself is an airport that's steeped in quite a bit of history. It was Singapore's first airport that was built in 1928 by the British Royal Air Force, the RAF. And it grew as its first commercial airport, first airport to accept commercial aircraft traffic in the late 1920s before Kelang Airport, which was the next airport that opened. But it is developed into something that is quite phenomenal. I mean, it is a state-of-the-art airport, just like the Changi Airport that's not too far away. This is a phenomenal airport, and they've done an amazing job, the government, of really combining an industrial park with a lot of nature, with a lot of F&B, with a lot of recreational facilities. You'd be hard pressed to look around and realize that you're actually in an industrial park when you've got a nature preserve that's across the street from a Rolls-Royce factory that's making engine fan blades, or down the street from Airbus that's doing aircraft type rating and training. There's about 70 different multinational corporations, MNCs, here in Seletar Aerospace Park, home to about 6,000 professionals that come in and out of Seletar every day. Again, we're right in the middle of that. So for us, it's a great place for us to be. What we did is we took an existing building that had been in place. It had been empty for about 24 months. We worked with an amazing partner that helped develop the building out, Air 7 Asia, and they do a lot of really exciting things in aviation. But we took this facility that had a good structure, but really needed some work, and we really transformed it into something that is truly what you'd expect to find at one of the residential campuses in either Daytona Beach or Prescott. We have in this facility, what's really excited about is to have this external branding. You can see this from the street. Those 6,000 people coming in and out of Seletar every day. You can't miss the Embry Riddle logo. So that helps to really kind of reinforce and send that message that Embry Riddle is here in Singapore. And it's great to see alumni come back, to visit the campus. For many of our alumni over the years, we talked about a campus one day, and it's amazing to see the looks on alums' faces when they come by, and they're just so excited to see what's happened, and that the current students get to enjoy what we've developed. The facility itself is about 20,000 square feet. And on those 2 floors, a second and third floor, we've got 4 different classrooms. We've got laboratories. Again, these are things that might seem fairly straightforward, right? A university has classrooms. For our first 13 years in Singapore, we shared our classrooms with other institutions, with other students. It was difficult to, do too much to a classroom when we shared it with other schools. That's not the case here. We've got classrooms, we've got laboratories. The 2 labs that we're focusing on is one flight simulation, and the other one will be air traffic management. But we're also going to have a pretty significant virtual and augmented reality presence as well, because 20,000 square feet, it's huge for us. But at the end of the day, it's not large enough to do a lot of, big labs. So what we're going to do is really leverage the virtual and augmented reality technology. So in addition to those classrooms, ranging from 38 students all the way up to this one here on the left, this can seat about 116. We also wanted to build in lots of place for students to relax before and after class. Again, something that might seem fairly simple, but for us, it was something that we really wanted to do more of over the years. And until we had our own space, we were not able to do that. So from things like a pool table and an air hockey table to a cafe, everything that students need to prepare for class or spend a little bit of time to, in between classes. We have quiet spaces. We have, spaces that are a little bit more active, and you see some of the pictures of that here in this slide. One of the things that we wanted to make sure that we did was not, in moving to a new campus, is not kind of forget the path that we were on and where we came from. So we're really excited to continue some of those traditions. The picture on the left is from our first Student Government Association inauguration back in July of 2016. And we have done that every July. And we did our 9th Student Government Association that took their oath of office in July of this year. So we're really excited to continue some of those traditions that we started, even without a campus to call home. Now we have the space to really expand and create those new traditions that we're excited to see grow. Just to give a little bit of an overview in terms of what we offer here in Singapore, we have 7 different undergraduate and graduate degrees. On the undergraduate side, we have Aviation Business Administration, Aeronautics, Bachelor of Science in Engineering, and a Bachelor's of Science in Business Analytics. And on the graduate side, we have our MBA in Aviation. This is really kind of our flagship program that we launched in our first year in January of 2011. We've got the Master of Science in Aeronautics, and we added in this last year the Master of Science in Aviation Aerospace Sustainability. So these are our academic degree programs. Like some of the other worldwide locations, we certainly offer training courses as well. Degree programs are 2, 3, 4 years, as many of you would know. Training courses are much shorter. They can be as little as just a couple of days or a couple of weekends that focus on lots of different areas. There's about 30 or so different areas that we have offered courses in the past. These are some of our popular ones: aviation cybersecurity, airport wildlife management and operations, air cargo management. These are all ICAO Trainer Plus courses. Embry Riddle is a member of ICAO Trainer Plus, so that's not specific to the Singapore campus. We deliver the cybersecurity course. We've done a few courses in Frankfurt. We've done them across the United States. So if you're interested in any one of these areas, don't feel like you need to come all the way to Singapore to study cybersecurity. We offer these quite regularly around the world and online as well. In addition, we have other courses that we offer throughout the year. We're excited, to be offering all of these courses. Some of these are offered on a fixed kind of planned schedule. Some of them are offered on demand as the need presents itself. The lower right-hand corner, you'll see that we are also unmanned aircraft training organization here in Singapore. That's exciting for us. We just got that certification from the Civil Aviation Authority last year, and we're excited for that because now we're able to do, some of that real hands-on, flying, and we do that with some of our UAS aircraft in the training areas, and we actually have some space here on campus to do that as well. To kind of wrap things up, many of you would probably be familiar with some of these statistics here. Embry Riddle is absolutely connected with industry in many ways. That industry engagement, that collaboration, it really gives our students that opportunity when they graduate to go out there and that job is almost waiting for them when they graduate. Like other parts of the university, we're really excited to see that employment rate bounce back up. Obviously, there was a little bit of a downturn during COVID when it came to that employment rate, but we're happy to see that back up in the almost 100%. So we're really excited about that. We're also excited to see that we've got really competitive, starting salaries for our graduates, not just here in Singapore, but in the region as well. That Embry Riddle name is what is most important to the employers, and when they go and work in industry, they typically start with very good starting salaries. And the strong alumni network, events like this. We have a graduation ceremony coming up in December. The exciting part about this graduation ceremony, every graduation ceremony is exciting, of course. We're at about 965 graduates that we have graduated since our first ceremony in 2012. So we will graduate our 1,000th graduate at our ceremony this December. So we're really excited about that milestone. In addition, alumni events, just like they happen, as Nancy had said, we have events throughout the year. The first Wednesday of every month is when we have our kind of informal alumni event, and that's usually 10 to 15 people, and we move around, either on campus or to a nearby restaurant or location out at the airport. But we also have events that take place throughout the year that are larger. This was our alumni reception at the 2024 Singapore Air Show. This was our largest alumni reception, and it was great to celebrate with all the alums at what was really an exciting air show for us and for Singapore, to see the industry officially, announce that they were back after a fairly long COVID for us here in Singapore. It was great to see this turnout at the air show. And like I said, we do these events every month. If you're ever in Singapore, please, whether it's the first Wednesday of the month or not, please come by and see us. Seletar Aerospace Park, if you come by to see the campus, there's quite a bit to do, some great restaurants. So definitely, even if you have just a couple of hours layover, in Singapore, flying through Changi Airport, we're only about 25 minutes away. So it'd definitely be a day trip or a stopover if you're doing a connection. So that's just a very high level overview of what we're doing here in Singapore. Again, very, very happy to be here tonight and to share this information with everybody. And I look forward, I think we'll have some question and answer towards the end. So I'm happy to pass things back over to Edmund.
All right, Matt. Thank you so much for all the updates and also the exciting and great things going on the Singapore campus. All right, we're going to now cross the South Atlantic Ocean and head to Peru, where we'll hear from SGA, Worldwide SGA President, Julio Piccini. And I know for some of the alumni on the call, this is a little bit new and unfamiliar to you. But on the residential campuses, we've always had Worldwide SGA, and the inclusion of Worldwide having a student representative gives you an idea of the whole leadership and how students are involved with Dr. Watret and his cabinet making decisions for current students. So over to you, Julio, with some updates on things that the Worldwide SGA is doing.
Thank you, Edmund, for the presentation. Thank you guys for being here. My name is Julio Piccini. I am from Peru. I'm your SGA Worldwide President. I'm 23 years old. A little bit of a background from me. I'm a commercial pilot. I fly for LATAM Airlines as a pilot on the A320, A321, and A319 aircraft. I have been in aviation since I was a kid. I have family that have been in the military, in aviation. I have family that have been in the airline world. I started flying at the age of 16. I graduated as a commercial pilot at 18, and I have been in the airlines world since 3-4 years from now. So it has been a really great journey. I really love it. Edmund invited me here to present a little bit of an update of the SGA. As you know, I'm the SGA president. We have been doing really great this year. We have really nice updates. We have really upgraded our level on the past years of the SGA for now, and that's what I am proud of. The mission of the SGA and the statement is actually for you guys to work for you, to create community, to be more inclusive. I know sometimes being online, not seeing each other is a little bit difficult, but that's what the SGA is trying to work for, is to create community, is to create an ambient of fellowship and friendship and trust between the university, the students, and the SGA. So many updates at Edmonds now. We have been in Washington, D.C. on an event. It was really great. We went to the Air and Space Museum. These events are really nice because that brings people together. We had people over from Texas. We had people over from all the USA. It was really great. We had the New York event. It was a fundraiser. Also, it was a 5K race where all the SGA officials went to do some sports. Sometimes we didn't want it even to run. Some of us walked, but actually it turned really great because we had a really nice time. We raised money for a nice cause. We raised money for the 9/11 people that lost their lives, of friends and families that lost relatives in the 9/11, supporting the firefighters, military, and all the people that actually helped that day. That for me was a really nice cause. I really love it. We also have an update as well. We have been working on something that students and the university will have really soon that I'm really proud of. It's the Spirit Award. We implemented the Spirit Award to compensate students that has been on the dean list for 3 times in a row for their really nice effort. So we get reunited with the deans of the colleges. I also get a reunion with Dr. Watret. They are happy with that. They approved it. So I am happy to announce that this November, the first bunch of SGA Spirit Awards and University Awards will be coming in November, maybe last week. We have 202 students that actually qualify for this, and I hope these students are still doing really great. I just want to congratulate every one of you. I have been looking at, and it's really nice to see students also that they have jobs, they have work to do, they have families doing an amazing job. And as the SGA, we want to congratulate you all on the university. We want to give you something more, something else, more personalized for you. And I am really proud of announcing that. We also are gonna do soon enough open meetings with the SGA officials. This will give students and alumni really an opportunity to talk to us, mostly students, if they want to talk to the SGA, how they feel what we need to improve, what we are doing. It will be a really nice opportunity to talk to the SGA officials, talk to us, see how we can help you and be more connected with you, not just be like separated, but connected with you and be more like connected in a community, as I also like to do as the SGA president. As you know, we have been working really hard. COVID came and was really hard for us to be together, everyone. I know this is something like sometimes it's a little bit difficult to be online, not to see us, but that doesn't mean that we cannot create community and we cannot be one big family, one Embry Riddle family. And this is a really nice way to do it. So I really thank Edmund to have the opportunity to have me here to present myself to you, for you to see my face. And I am glad to be working for you. I hope that I can do it for many years more. And I hope you really have the opportunity to meet me in person. If you need anything, just please contact me. I'm always here. I'm your friend. I'm not just the SGA president. I'm a student. I'm a person. So please just consider me your friend. Anything you need, I'll be really happy to be here for you. Thank you, Edmund. And also, I just want to say thank you to Dr. Watret for the support in the SGA. It has been really great, has been amazing, and I really appreciate it.
Thank you very much for your update, Julio. Really appreciate the student point of view, and also kudos to you and your team for all you're doing to really create that community and bring students in person, any opportunity that you can get. All right, well, we've heard all from our speakers. We'll now turn over to the Q&A session. Let me know if you have any questions. You can either put it in the chat or raise your hand, and then we can allow you to ask your questions. Anybody with any questions?
Edmund, there was someone that had a question earlier. I don't know if it was only privately to me or if everyone could see it. A gentleman named Rodney. I gave him my email address. He's working as an engineer at Camp Zama and was wondering how he could find out when the next time the chancellor would be out and about, maybe in his area. So I gave him my email address. We are actually slated to go to Camp Zama on Tuesday, December 10th, Rodney. So we might be able to see you. So if you email me, I can give you the particulars. It'd be great to meet you.
Absolutely. Thank you, Nancy. And the alumni office will also continue working with all the leaders so we can keep posting some of these interactions on the alumni page. So you can also head to the alumni event section for some of these upcoming activities in your areas. Any other questions? For the speakers, anything else last minute that you had to share or was hoping to answer but nobody has asked yet?
Yeah, so I'll just jump in and thank everyone that gave the updates and to the group that joined us. Thank you for coming on. And I think all the information provided by everyone, it shows how dynamic the Worldwide Campus is in terms of we really are a global network of education for the aviation, aerospace, and space industry. And, you know, having the students actively involved. I mean, thank you, Julio. And, you know, we have the Singapore SGA as well that are very active with their students out there, and they do a lot of more traditional type SGA activities similar to that they have on the 2 residential campuses. But it's a great organization that allows education and growth for anyone that wants to get into the aviation aerospace industry, and it doesn't matter which part of the globe you're in, Embry Riddle is there to support you.
Absolutely. Thank you very much, Dr. Watret. And also in Matt's update, he did mention the Singapore campus will be celebrating its 1,000 graduate. Also, worldwide as a whole, sometime in the spring, we'll be celebrating its 100,000 alumni. So these are huge milestones, and we are truly, truly, truly excited to be celebrating as we go along. All right, well, no questions in the chat. Speakers, again, thank you very much for all those that joined. Happy homecoming and family weekend, and forever an eagle. Thank you and have a great day.
Thank you, everyone.
Thank you.
Bye.
Thanks, everyone. Bye-bye.
Bye, everyone. Thank you.
Bye.